with this week's Outlandish Comparison. Today we are comparing episode 208, The Fox's Lair, to Dragonfly and Amber, chapters 30 through 34, and 40 and 41. Yes, we're starting to jump all over the place, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Now, if you haven't watched the episode yet or plan on reading the book, please be warned that spoilers are about to come. In our book and our show, we get to see Claire and Jamie's homecoming to Lollybrook. I feel like in the show, this was rushed over a bit. In our book, we get a lot more insight into our characters' personalities, but I feel like we might get some more of that in the coming weeks of the TV show. We'll see. One thing that they did cover briefly in the show was Lollybrook's potato harvest. Now, in our book, we realize the gravity of this occurrence much more because if you will recall back to season 1, when Claire says goodbye to Jenny and tells her to plant potatoes, you realize the importance of the potato crop because if the potato crop was bad, then all of the tenants of Lollybrook could starve. And Claire is essentially saving the Lollybrook farm and all the people that go along with it. It's essentially Claire is controlling their futures for good or for ill, and it depends upon these potatoes. So it's actually quite an important event, and I feel like the show didn't cover it as much as it should have been covered. In our show and our book, there's a very crucial moment when the mail comes to Lollybrook. Now, it's very far removed from any city, so it takes the mail a long time to come. And Jamie receives a letter from his cousin Jared in France. In that letter is a declaration from Charles Stewart basically saying he's starting this war, and here is a list of all the Highland clans that are going to support him. And he puts Jamie's name on the list. He essentially forges Jamie's signature. And if you're Jamie, you have to think of how that must feel. That, oh, I'm finally home. Life is getting back to normal. There's no longer a price on my head. And then all of a sudden, I'm thrust back into this war. I'm thrust back into becoming a traitor. And I didn't even want to. I was trying to stop this the whole time. And so this moment is a very extreme moment. This episode is called The Fox's Lair. The fox that is being referred to is Jamie's grandfather, Lord Lovett, Simon Fraser, and everyone calls him the Old Fox because he's cunning and tricky. Now, at the top of the video, you might remember I said chapters 40 and 41. Chapter 40 is called The Fox's Lair in our book. This happens much later, though, than the rest of our TV episode. In the book, it's actually Charles Stewart that orders Jamie to go and seek his grandfather's help and all of Clan Fraser. Jamie he just doesn't want to do it. He's like, I've never seen my grandfather really ever. I'm not going to go to this guy now. And Charles Stewart kind of forces him into it. But this has been after they've already been fighting some battles. Our show does it a little different where Jamie actually decides beforehand, even though he doesn't still really want to go try to seek his grandfather's help because he knows to win this war, to change history, I'm going to need all the men I can to try to make this work. At Lord Lovett's castle, the show adds another element by bringing Colin Mackenzie there, as well as Leary. None of this happens in the book at all, but it's a very interesting adaptation, and I really enjoyed seeing Leary in it, seeing her and Claire's tension, and Leary looking for a bit of redemption, sort of, and you kind of think, I don't really believe her, but you kind of want to because you know she's Mrs. Fitzgibbon's granddaughter, and you love Mrs. Fitzgibbons, but you still kind of hate Leary, but I really liked it. It was very interesting, and I think that it added a cool element to the show. In our book and our show, we meet Lord Lovett's seer, Macery. I think Macery is a very interesting character because she and Claire understand each other. Even though they kind of come from different realms, they both are blessed or cursed, if you want to look at it that way, with knowledge of the future. Macery's comes more from a, I don't know, supernatural kind of point, and Claire's comes from actually being a time traveler. But they have this connection that they understand what it's like to hold other people's lives in their hand. In our book, it's actually Macery that tells Lord Lovett that his doom is near. Our show took a little different direction, where we had Claire pull out some of her La Dame Blanche, and she tells Lord Lovett that his doom is near. So it was very cool how they showed that Claire and Macery are connected in a way. I really loved our book in these chapters because you get to see a lot more character development, and you get to see Fergus with Rabbie becoming best friends. You get to see some great moments with Jamie and Ian. So I'm just curious if maybe they'll get to some more of those in the show. I really enjoyed our show this week, bringing in Leary, because in our book, you almost forgot about her. I mean, well, there's so many other things going on, you just, I forgot about that chick. Until she makes an untimely resurrection of her own. But that'll wait till next season. Thank you for watching this week's Outlandish Comparison. If you enjoyed it, please like it, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys all next week.
Could that last be us?